Hello and welcome to Pressing Buttons, episode 27. I'm Hugo,
I'm Nick.
and it's great to be here again. Another wonderful episode of Pressing Buttons being recorded. Little quick heads up. Sorry for the delay on this episode. We've been a little bit busy. Nick is in the process of moving. I've been a little bit busy, so we weren't able to do some remote recording this weekend. The next couple of weeks is going to be a little bit hectic because he's still in the process of moving. But we will try to get these episodes out like usual on Mondays. But if there's any issues, make sure you're just keeping up on Discord or on our Twitter to make sure you get the announcements for any delays or anything like that. And then obviously, in about 3 weeks, we're going to be at Evo. We will still be recording an episode for that week, but it's probably going to be a little bit late because we're also going to be making some content while we're in Vegas. It's going to be a lot of more video content, so make sure you keep an eye on that. But just a little programming update just for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a little bit hectic, but we will try to keep on schedule. We're going to be grinding for you guys, so, you know. And then,
Always be grinding.
always be grinding. The Pressing Button community is strong, and we thank you for it. And then our agenda for today, we're going to go over some video game news. Not a lot going on last week in terms of video game news, in terms of a lot of highlights, but we do have some video game news that Nick and I wanted to kind of discuss and go over and give our thoughts on it for you guys. And then we're also going to be doing our Steam Deck impressions. Nick finally got his Steam Deck, surprise, surprise.
Or Steam Dick, as my Bose headphones likes to call it.
There you go. It's a powerful one.
Yeah.
But he finally got it much faster than I did, which good for the show. I was a little bit upset, but whatever. But now that he has it, we're going to give you both our impressions on it, what we like about it, what we don't like about him, and maybe what we want to see in the future from it. And then, as usual, we'll be doing our closing thoughts. So let's jump right into the show. First bit of news is we're going to talk about Nintendo. I know Nick is a little Nintendo hater over here. We don't give a lot of time to Nintendo on the Pressing Buttons podcast, even though I have nothing against Nintendo. But the first bit of news was that Nintendo acquired Dynamo Pictures, which is an animation studios, which in turn they renamed into Nintendo Pictures. Dynamo is known for working on a lot of animations. They've worked on such animations as Dragon Ball Super, Hero, the movie that just came out recently, Evangelion 2.0, You Are Not Alone, Final Fantasy 15, Kingslave, amongst others. You can check out their Anime News Network page and see what they've worked on, but it's a very renowned animation studio. And Nintendo, weirdly picking up this kind of studio, it makes sense in terms of like how you see a lot of other main publishers buying animation studios or just partnering with other studios for television shows, like you saw with Sony partnering up with Netflix and Amazon to do their God of War and Horizon stuff. Microsoft partnering up with Paramount Plus to do Halo, and now Nintendo getting their own studio. It looks like they want to get back into the business of animation. They have a lot of properties that you could say are primed to have some sort of TV shows or movies in the future. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is a good move for Nintendo? It's very unlike them, but I think it works.
Yeah, I think, most studios, developers and publishers, they're just increasingly going into more of a transmedia strategy where they just want their IP to basically be everywhere, and we've talked about this in a few episodes. I think this is probably like 4 or 5 episodes ago, but there was this like 2 or 3 week period of just like all of these new movies and TV shows getting announced based on games IP. So it's not surprising that they're wanting to do more of that to further exploit their current IP, which I know you like to call me a Nintendo hater. I actually don't. I don't identify as a Nintendo hater, but
If
I
the
do
shoe fits,
think,
bro. If the shoe fits.
but I am, a little bit kind of, uh, I would say like frustrated with kind of what they've been offering over the last, year or two. So, I just want more from them. Uh, so yeah, to me, like they have some of the best IP, so it makes sense that they do everything they can to exploit that through all these other different kind of ways of creating content. And you use the word surprising. Like I was surprised that they actually just outright acquired a company and they're going to fold it into their own operations as opposed to just more like partnering, which I think is more of the model that other publishers have done. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think I guess that means that they got a lot of ideas and they're going to keep this company pretty busy over the next, well, I guess forever. So so I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, the output and then moving that direction makes complete sense. I do find it a little bit odd that they're acquiring the company, and I don't think they made any specific comments around like what they're actually going to be working on.
No, no.
Uh,
So, I mean, real quick on what you were saying, they didn't make a comment on what the partnership, well, the acquisition entails, what they're going to be working on. This is also separate from that Super Mario movie that's in production with Chris Pratt, our favorite Italian plumber. This is a whole separate thing. I think in this case, which, like you said, it is weird that they purchase a studio to create their own content. I know there have been rumors of like Nintendo working with Netflix to do like a Zelda show, a Legend of Zelda show, a Mario show, just any type of their intellectual properties that they wanted to. I know Netflix wanted to get with Nintendo and create some stuff just like they've done with like Cuphead and Cyberpunk and stuff like that, just offer it on their services. But we both also know how fickle Nintendo is and how stubborn they are and how they want to do things their own Nintendo way. So I think this does work for them in terms of they'll have more power with this acquisition just to dictate everything that they want out of the studio and how their intellectual properties get treated.
yeah, and the other thing I know that they've talked about before in terms of, I guess, like movie creation. I think it was for the Smash Brothers games. They are very well known for like their incredible trailers and cinematics, and they've talked about that being actually like one of the more like expensive things to create for launching those games. So there's part of me that wonders whether there's an angle there as well, where maybe it's not necessarily standalone TV film pieces of content that they publish on Netflix or whatever, but it actually could be stuff that's either in the games or published alongside the games as like a marketing and promotion tool. So that could be like another thing that they explore.
Yeah, so only the future will tell. Obviously, I'll be excited. I want to see something along the lines of like maybe a Zelda, maybe Metroid. You can totally see anything like that. Some new productions because I think the last thing they did was those old Mario and Zelda cartoons from back in the 80s or 90s or whatever it was. They're due for an update, and
I love that
Nintendo.
show. The like hybrid. They had like opening like live action skits that would like introduce the episode. That was
Yeah,
great.
there you go. Feed the nostalgia. Maybe we'll
Need
have
some more
something
of
like
that.
that. All right.
I agree.
And then moving on to the next bit of news, it's also Nintendo related, and that's the Bayonetta 3 finally got a release date, coming out October 28th. If you're not aware, it's being developed by Platinum Games, very, very heavy action oriented studio. They're known for Nier, they're known for Vanquish, Wonderful 101, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. So, a very action heavy studio. Bayonetta, very beloved franchise. Definitely something not, I would say, Nintendo's wheelhouse because it's one of those where it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very provocative, the game itself.
Great
And
word.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
was
Good.
worried. I was worried which word you're going to use, but I think
Ugh.
that was a solid one. Yeah.
I was proud of myself on that one. But yeah, it's a very provocative game. It's a very action oriented game, but it's got a lot of cutscenes and just innuendos and stuff like that. Um, and Platinum Games, such a great developer. I know they make great action games, so I'm excited for this. I also know that they are making like a little privacy kind of mode where you can turn on a filter to like hide revealing clothes and stuff like that, or just certain scenes. So keep those parents happy from the obscene stuff. Are you a big Bayonetta fan? Are you excited for this?
Yeah, I would say I'm cautiously optimistic. So I love the first two games. So I own them and I beat them. I generally like most stuff from Platinum Games, although I feel like they've been kind of like on a downward, um, bit of a downward spiral with some of the quality of their recent releases, and I kind of felt like this game was like maybe in a bit of limbo slash development hell for a while. I could be reading into it too much though, so I don't know, when you kind of factor in those two things. It kind of just makes me think about whether this game's actually going to be good. And then, as you pointed out earlier, playing anything on the Switch these days is just like it's just awful. So it's like hard for me to get excited about like a fast, action packed character, action game when I need to play it in like 24 frames per second. So we'll see about this one. Like it'll probably be, I'm sure it'll be exclusive to like Nintendo platforms for a while. So I don't know. This one's tough. Like if it ends up being like unbelievable and it performs well, maybe I'll check it out on Switch. Otherwise, I'm probably in wait and see mode.
Yeah, it's like you said, Platinum Games, great studio, but they kind of have been on a downward spiral the last couple of games. I don't think a lot of it has to do with their own doing. It's just the market itself. A lot of the games that they have very high concepts in terms of the games that they want to offer people and ideas that they want to push in games. That doesn't, I think, generally vibe with a lot of publishers. So I think maybe that's kind of hurt them a little bit. I think the last game was Astral Chain for the Switch that they uh, published, so that they developed. So hopefully this is their comeback. Bayonetta is like their gravy. They know they've worked on all three of them up to this point. So I think everybody's been anticipating this one. So I think it'll be good. Hopefully it does sell more. I love their creativity in their studio, so I want to see more games out of them. All right. And then next bit of news, we're going to move on to some PlayStation news. PlayStation just recently announced that they're going to be doing PlayStation Stars, which is basically a rewards program. It doesn't have anything to do with like NFTs. This is more for the gamers. If you play certain games, if you get certain trophies in games, if you do certain events, certain tournaments and stuff like that, you'll be able to earn some collectibles, earn some art. Again, not any NFTs. Sony, I believe, has done this before in terms of if you held a certain amount of trophies for PlayStation systems, you could basically like bid on certain memorabilia and objects like posters, action figures. Um, I know for a while there was a commercial that they did uh, for gamers, and like you could basically get stuff from that commercial, like the God of War axe and stuff like that. Um, but this is just a way to reward their users. I know Sony's like very heavy on having their customers get rewards. I'm glad they are not doing NFTs. NFTs haven't been doing well. In the case of recently, you have GameStop that just opened up their NFT market, didn't do so well and stuff like that. And hopefully they do. They're good rewards. Hopefully it's stuff that people want to get. I'm a big PlayStation gamer, I would say. Besides playing games on PC, I think my PlayStation is my other main source of video games. So hopefully I can get some cool stuff. What about you? Are you excited? Do you think they should move into the NFT realm? Does it work?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be cool. I mean, it's just really a function of, are the rewards worthwhile? Yes or no. Uh, I can't remember if I think Xbox had some sort of thing like that. I'm not as familiar with that one, if it even existed, but I know with Nintendo they always had. I think I've been a member of whatever that club is for like a very long time. I think it was called like Nintendo Club or something like that, and then now it's just called My Nintendo. Um, the rewards are not great, and I think the way that you get rewards is basically just by just basically like buying games, and you get like certain coins, and maybe in certain games you're able to like earn stuff. But I think PlayStation's approach is less. It's less about just like the acquisition of a game. It's more about like what you do inside of the game, which I think is like way more compelling and interesting. Um, so I don't know. I mean, it's good. I think they're doing like a bunch of, they just kind of relaunched their subscription services. So I think they're just doing like a broader reset of all these other ancillary services in the PlayStation ecosystem. So maybe not that surprising that they would do something. Yeah, and again, like it's until we see the rewards, it's kind of tough to tell. But I like the direction it's headed, where again, it's more focused on what you're doing in the game, and it's specifically not like this, NFT stuff, which maybe down the road they figure out a good way to kind of integrate that. But I think that makes sense for them to like not really emphasize that right now, particularly because there's such like negative sentiment by core gamers. Like they just want nothing, like for the most part they just want like nothing to do with NFTs. So I think it's more of like a I think Sony understands their audience and knows it's not something to push right now, so they're just not going to do it.
Yeah, the Sony brand is very strong right now. PlayStation 5 being the most sought after console out there on the market. Still, there's very high demand, even though there's low supply. You also have the PlayStation Plus rebrand. I know it's doing very well. A lot of the games are doing that are getting released, or just the catalog is very expansive. Um, it's a strong brand right now, and I think they are doing it right. So hopefully the rewards are pretty compelling, and it's not like one in a million people can get it. Hopefully it's something that everybody can kind of get, and it's fun to get. So we'll see if I can get some of this stuff when it comes up. Once they give more details on it, I will try my best and get some stuff.
Yeah, I think, and I'm guessing it's probably mainly going to be digital goods, whether that's some sort of like in-game or in-platform currency.
Yeah, so far it looks like it might just
items
be like avatars and stuff like that, like you said, in-game stuff. But maybe down the road, some plushies, some action figures, some passes to stuff. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Because I think that was most of Nintendo's rewards were like actual physical things. It's just that like most of them were not good. There was like generally like one cool thing, and it was like took a lot of points or whatever, and they were like limited availability. So in the like probably like well over a decade of being like in that system, like I don't think I've ever gotten anything cool. So it's
there you have it. Just do better than Nintendo, Sony, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for our news segment. Like I said, not a lot of news this week. Hopefully, last week. Hopefully, we get some more news this week. But we're going to be moving straight on to our Steam Deck impressions. I know you guys have been waiting from your favorite two podcasters to give you some Steam Deck impressions. Like I said, I got mine a couple like a month and a half ago. Nick just got his about a week and a half ago. We're very happy with our devices. For those of you watching on video, if you're not watching on video, we are currently holding them up, so you can see. Mine's a little bit dusty. But it is a great machine. We're going to go over the pros and cons of it. I believe we can start off with the pros, the positive stuff, Always want some positivity. On my end, I do like the size of the device itself, the way it handles. I have a Switch as well. My main problem with the Switch is that after playing the Switch for maybe an hour and a half, my fingers start getting numb and cramping up. I don't have that issue as much with the Steam Deck. I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen, but if I am playing this thing for like 2-3 hours, yes, it does, but not obviously like the Switch. The other thing I like about it, I can stream most of my games from my PC into the Steam Deck. So if I have my PC on and there's some games that aren't Steam Deck compatible yet, I can just have it streamed directly into the Steam Deck while I'm on the couch, which is very convenient. While I wait for those games to be Steam Deck compatible and just ease of use. Other thing is the portability. It's very light. It looks very heavy because it is bigger than your standard Switch if you have a Switch. But it's very light, I would say, and it's easy to carry around. And then the last thing is, which I love the most. Obviously, I have a very big Steam library of games that I bought on sale but never played. But I love that now that it's portable, I can just be on the couch, and I played a couple games that I kind of forgot about it, and didn't want to boot up on my computer, but I was able to boot up on my Steam Deck while I'm sitting down on my couch and play them. So I'm very happy for that. What are your positives, Nick? What are you happy about with your Steam Deck so far?
Pretty similar, actually. I think I think this is like the third or fourth time we've talked about this already, just in this episode. But I've been kind of like done with the Switch for a while. I find it like really hard to play on it.
And you were wondering why you give the impression that you hate Nintendo. It's because you just said like 4 times in this episode how you hate the Switch and you want nothing to do with it.
Well, I mean, it's a kind of a potential competitor with the Switch, and then the first 2 news items were about Nintendo, so you're really setting me up here. But yeah, I haven't really played much, if any, Switch at all, and for a while I basically never took it like with me anywhere, just because the form factor was so uncomfortable for me to like play on it. So I almost always played it docked. And when I did take it with me, it would be I'd have the Switch. I would bring like a little stand, and then I would bring my Pro controller as well, because like I just couldn't deal with like actually playing the thing in handheld mode. So a lot of people have talked about like how bulky the Steam Deck is. For me, it's like the same, if not like less stuff to carry around, because I don't have to carry the Switch, the controller, and the stand. I can just carry the one, the Steam Deck and its carrying case, which, by the way, the carrying case comes with it, which is helpful. And yeah, I was so I just did like a round trip. Went to New York and back, and that's what, a 5.5 hour flight or so. I was able to play the Steam Deck basically the whole time. So like for at least 3 to 4 hours on each leg of the trip, and had absolutely zero cramping or any kind of comfort issues. So to me, that's like unbelievable, and the first time that's basically ever happened to me with a handheld device. So I'm definitely digging the form factor. It is like it's a little heavy, but it's so much more comfortable, and not that much more bulky than like a Switch. So for certain use cases, like if you're on the couch, or even I've been playing it like in front of my computer, which kind of makes no sense because I it's like where I game on my gaming PC, but I've been playing a little bit in front of my in front of my gaming computer. On planes or whatever, like that use case is great. Now it's not that portable, right? So like it needs to be a situation where you have like a backpack or whatever, and in those situations I think it's totally fine. But there could be other situations where maybe I don't want to deal with that, and maybe like a PS Vita is better. So I still think for me it's like this complementary set of portable systems where it's like the Steam Deck where I have a little bit more storage capacity and I'll be in like long periods of being stationary, and then maybe like the PS Vitas where I need to be a little bit more nimble and it's more kind of grab and go. So like on a subway, like on a New York subway or something like that, like I think that for me at least, like the PS Vita would be like a good system for that. So yeah, but I guess kind of same thing you were saying. Like I find it to be very, very comfortable, and I know that was a big concern a lot of people had when they first saw it. You're just like, oh my god, this thing's gargantuan, and it's going to be heavy, and I think the pros definitely weigh out the cons on that for sure.
All right. And then,
Um,
you got any more positives on that?
uh, yeah, I mean, like I think to me that's like the big one, and then of course, like I've had Steam for as long as I can remember, so I have hundreds, if not thousands, of games that I can now play on the go. Like not all of them are compatible, but to me, the Steam integration is just like so amazing because that was always really annoying about buying portable systems is you either buy games unique to that platform or you need to like rebuy games you've already played or whatever. So it's like this is completely resolves that, and it's kind of nice to buy a system and just immediately have every game that you already own able to play on it. So I thought that was kind of like a unique experience with a portable machine to be able to do that. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's so easy. The operating system itself, I think I haven't encountered any issues with it. It runs exactly like it would run on the computer, and then you can also switch to from portable Steam Deck mode to Linux operating system desktop mode. So that's pretty easy and convenient. I think so far there haven't been any issues. Obviously, they are updating the device because it is a new device. There's a lot of updates that get released more often than what it would be down the road once it's established. And I think they are listening to a lot of the fan feedback in terms of things that are missing, things that people want, things that could be better. I think they're doing a good job of keeping the fans updated and kind of keeping the system updated with what people want. In terms of the negatives, I think, like we both said, the battery life, I think it's pretty great. You can spend 4 to 5 hours on it, depending on what game you're playing, depending on what performance mode you're playing, whether you're playing at 30 FPS or 60 FPS. Um, the system itself also kind of overheats, I would say, if the game is very intensive. I know our friend Joe said that while he was playing Yakuza, it was overheating. When I was playing Evil Within, it was overheating a little bit, but not as intense as it is. Um, Also, I think it has too many buttons. You were giving me crap for this one. As you can see, it has like all your standard front buttons and then trackpads. And it's got your top shoulder buttons. It's also got some back buttons, which is fine. A lot of options, but honestly, you're not going to be using a lot of those for a lot of games. But I guess it's so you can map it easier, especially if for people with disabilities, it might be easier to just kind of map everything around. So for me, I feel like it has too many buttons, but I'm pretty sure it works better for a lot of people that it does have too many buttons. And then the other thing I would say is that hopefully they kind of speed up the process for supporting the games that aren't Steam Deck certified yet, so that way I can play a lot of the ones that I haven't been able to play because they're not supported yet. And I have a lot of confidence that that will happen very soon or very fast. What about you? Any qualms, any negatives that you got with the system?
Yeah, there's a few nitpicks. Like nothing by any means a deal breaker, but there's definitely a couple things that I observed as I was playing it for quite a bit on this flight. Uh, yeah, I think to echo your point on like the buttons, I think it's actually great. I need to spend a little more time to figure out how to configure the like the back paddles. I think that's actually for certain games that'll be great to use instead of the shoulder buttons because sometimes like trying to pinch those shoulder buttons is not that comfortable. So that's just something I didn't mess around with. The trackpads, I just don't get them. I don't know if I'll ever use them. Maybe for I'll find a game where it's great and I get like really excited about it, but um, I couldn't figure out like how to use the trackpads. And actually, what I would do is I would like accidentally kind of slide against the trackpad, and it would actually like register it as me moving my right analog stick when I didn't want it to. So in certain cases, it actually kind of became like a distraction.
I don't know if
Um,
you've used desktop mode that much, but I think that's the only kind of use I got out of it when I was in desktop mode. It was easier to control than to use the joystick as it was a mouse. So I
yeah,
think that's the only thing really. But like you said, if you know why be there if you're just gonna have like one single use that like your joystick can be used for, or the touchscreen itself because it is touchscreen. So
yeah. So I think didn't really like them, but so I think if I figure out a way to just deactivate them so that I don't accidentally press them, then it should just kind of become like a non-issue, and it's just like a thing that I don't really engage with. And then again, if I find the right game at some point where it's great, then that'll be cool. But yeah, I think for now I'm not getting a ton of value out of these things. A couple other like, did you? I wonder if this is like my unit or if you saw this as well. But so I was on a long flight. Uh, like maybe the battery would have been okay, over a 5 hour period, like probably not. So for the most part, I had it plugged in as I was playing it. And I just felt like the actual connection was like real wobbly and it was like driving me crazy. So
no, that bothers me too. I feel like
okay, no, it's very good
if
because I thought I was like, or am I just like an insane person?
if
Or
it was able to be inserted more, I think I'd be more comfortable. But it does feel wobbly. Where like if I accidentally yank it, I feel like I'm gonna break a piece of it off easier
oh,
than if it was
yeah,
inserted more, kind of thing. Yeah, that weirds me out. That and the Steam button and I forget the button with the three dots. I feel like there's not a lot of feedback when you press them, and I know online people have been able to mod it, open it up, kind of make it so it gives you more feedback. So those are like the only two qualms with those things with the ports and stuff like that I've had really.
yeah. And then I think maybe the only other, because we kind of already talked about battery life and depending on the mode you're playing it in and whatever, like you might not get a ton of battery life. But I think for most of my use cases, I'll probably almost always have access to a power outlet anyways. So I don't know how problematic that's actually going to be for me. Um, and then the only other nitpick I had is I got the system, opened it up, time to download games, and in my mind I was like, oh, let me just queue up like a ton of games and just like let it ride overnight. But like you can only download games like while the system's like on, like so I queued up a bunch of games, put it into sleep mode, and then returned to it later, and nothing had been downloaded. So I thought that was kind of odd. Where I feel like that's pretty common now, where pretty much with any kind of modern system, you can almost always download stuff like while it's in sleep mode or whatever. So again, it's not like a deal breaker, but I just thought that was kind of like an odd thing. Um, shouldn't really be an issue now that I've kind of done this one time setup of trying to download a ton of stuff at the same time. So
I think
going
you might
forward, it
have to
shouldn't be a
check
deal.
on that one though, because I feel like I've downloaded stuff and I put it to sleep and it does. It might be a setting, so I don't know. I'll have to check on it. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll have to look it up because I feel like
Yeah,
I put
they
him
might
to
have updated
sleep
it.
and I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Like other people have had this, so I know it's not just me. Other people, it's happened to other people. It could be the case that we're all complete idiots in the same way, and but like either way, like something happened that I intuitively thought would happen, but it did not happen. So it's like
Well,
I think there's like a user experience, kind of shortfall here. Either way.
I mean, even if it is a lacking feature, I think it's such an important feature. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like that they'll patch it in soon. It's one of those things that makes the system better. So I don't see why down the
Yeah, I
line
think
it
it'll
wouldn't
get.
be
I
something
think
that
that'll
gets
get
patched
updated.
up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, nice, good impressions from both of us. Now, I feel like our listeners want the big buttons. We know we've done a system review before here. We reviewed the Playdate, and that got an amazing one button, I believe. It might have been two.
It
I don't
initially
remember.
was two. It was initially two, and then I revised it down to one.
Down to one. No,
Um,
out of five. So, what's your
yeah.
verdict on the Steam Deck so far? Same thing. It's a work in progress system, but so far, are you more impressed? It seems like you are more impressed, and I am as well than what the Playdate offered. What would your
Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
what's your initial pressing buttons review? How many buttons would you give it out of five?
I mean, I think I'd give it a 5.
Oh wow,
Is
five
that
right off the
crazy?
bat. I was gonna
Yeah, I
say
mean,
four.
yeah, like that would be my only, like, 4, just because, nothing's
I,
perfect, and this is like their first generation of doing
yeah.
this, but I don't know, like,
Well, yeah. I
I
mean,
really, I really like it.
I was on the fence about giving it a five just because it's a work in progress. So far, I think it's knocked it out of the park. It's like I love it. I want this. I love playing it. I love taking it to work and just having it there. I love being at home and being on the couch and playing with it on the couch. So the only reason I don't want to give it a five is because it is a work in progress. I think once it's fully, like a year from now, I can, or what, we'll do a 6 month review. Is what I figured, and we'll do a permanent. For now, I'll give it a four, but I think 6 months from now, once it's in more people's hands, it'll be a full year actually from, no, not a full year, but close to a year from the initial release of it. So I think it'll be a permanent review on that. But for now, I will give it a four. 4 buttons out of five on my end. 5 buttons out of five on Nick's
I
end.
think I'm also, I think, giving like future credit to the system now for an upcoming use case, which is me driving across the country. And it was so annoying. The last time I did this, I wanted to bring I wanted to have like a gaming PC with me, so I had to pack. I had to put it in my car. I had to put, basically travel with a 27-inch monitor that I boxed up. My like small form factor gaming PC, and you have to like take the GPU out of it because sometimes it can get kind of like messed up if you keep the GPU installed, and it's like on bumpy. So to me, like, I don't need to deal with any of that. Like, I just take
Yeah.
this one thing in a carrying case, and I get, effectively kind of the same, playing mostly the same games. It's not at the same level of fidelity, but it's like good enough.
Gotcha. I could
So
definitely, yeah. It's definitely in your future.
yeah, so like I'm already like very excited about that.
Being a PC
I
gamer
mean,
is so rough.
yeah. uh,
On the
so
road,
I love,
it's rough being a portable PC gamer. But
yeah,
now, not so much.
yeah. So really, it's so I love the hardware. Again, there's some nitpicks, but I still think it's great. It's the most comfortable portable device I've ever played. I don't think I've ever been able to play any device for more than like an hour without my hands hurting a lot. So had absolutely zero issues with that, so that's fantastic. And really, it's almost like opened up my gaming experience where I'm taking a new lens to games where it's like, oh, is this gonna play well on the Steam Deck? I'm playing games that I, maybe normally like wouldn't have really put a ton of time in, but because they just are so good to play on the go, like it's given me like a new opportunity to play that. So I think that's awesome, and that's my maybe we'll get into this in like closing thoughts, but I'm like always trying to think about like, oh yeah, should I get this for Steam Deck? And so it's great.
Not to bring your old nemesis, the Switch, into this, but I feel like it's that same thing when the Switch came out, where it's like the possibilities of all the portable games that were made available on the Switch, especially a lot of indie games that people were able to play on the go. Just had that resurgence of like a bunch of people playing it. I
Yeah,
think the
no,
same thing's going to be
totally,
happening for this. So yeah, there you go. The Nick
totally.
and the Nick and Hugo Steam Deck review. 4 out of 5 buns for me. 5 out of 5 buns for Nick, and I believe we're happy. We both agree on being happy.
I mean, I think it only needs to be like a 3 for us to be
Unhappy.
happy, right?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You can chuck
Yeah.
your play date now. You can just throw that thing out the window.
I don't know what the hell. Like I need to open it up and see what games I've gotten, but I just think it's
Oh yeah.
it's just
Gotta
the
check those
dumbest.
monthly games.
I buy a lot of dumb shit, and that's the dumbest thing I've bought in a long time. So
Well, at least we can tell our listeners so that way they don't make the same dumb mistakes.
says
you
the
do.
guy with oversized, Silver Surfer and Thanos statues behind
Not-
him. Like,
yeah, but those
buy-
are great purchases.
yeah, yeah. So I buy dumb shit, and I'm just like, this thing's so stupid. It's actually making me rethink. I've also ordered an analog pocket. If you're familiar with the analog systems, it's like
I think I've seen that. Oh yeah, it's like a Game
yeah,
Boy one, right?
yeah. It's like the Game Boy, but it's all whatever FPGA based, and
Oh,
the
but
display
I
is
think
super
that
nice.
one.
And
I think that one you'll probably like it more than the Playdate. But we
I mean,
can't
I'll
wait for your
definitely
review on that one.
so I'll definitely like it better than the Playdate because I'll like everything better than the Playdate. But it's do I get enough value out of it distinct from this like Steam Deck plus Vita combo that I was talking about earlier, because that's kind of my
Yeah, those are your go-tos.
yeah. So and I got to think about that one, and it's also like wildly expensive. So if I end up not liking it, I'll be even more upset about that, like versus paying the Playdate, because the Playdate actually like wasn't, it was like expensive for what it is, but it wasn't like that much money. I don't know, man.
Stop buying stuff.
Can't stop doing that.
All right. Well, that does it for the news segment and also for our Steam Deck review. Thanks for being with us on that. And we're going to move right on into our closing thoughts. Not a lot from me this week. I did watch The Bear. It's a new show. It's on Hulu. All 8 episodes are out. It's about this super good cook that his brother passes away, leaves him a restaurant in Chicago, like a restaurant diner. So he goes back to run it. It stars Jeremy Allen White. It's not a very Chicago show, I would say, in a sense of like they don't show a lot of Chicago. It's mostly just a restaurant. It's in Chicago. The people are from Chicago. But I do like the attention to the food that they have. I'm a big foodie type of person. I like watching food shows on Netflix and like the Food Channel. So I do like the attention that they put on the food, how they're making it, and how they're making the kitchen into more of like a professional restaurant style kitchen with the way they prepare everything and the way they address each other and all that stuff. So if you are a foodie or if you just want to looking for a new show, definitely recommend The Bear on Netflix. On Netflix. I definitely recommend The Bear on Hulu. It's out now, all 8 episodes. It just got renewed for a second season, so that's that's good. That usually means it's good for now until they get bored of it. And then the other big thing I've been doing this week is gaming. I've been playing Final Fantasy Origins, Stranger of Paradise. I know Nick has been the game.
It's about time.
It's about time. It was one of my most anticipated games just because I love the company, the developers that make the game, and I love the Final Fantasy stuff. And also I wanted to get into some chaos, and boy, have I gone into some chaos. It's a ridiculous game, just as as the demo promised and as Nick said. But I'm enjoying it. It's a very cheesy storyline. I'm kind of getting the gist of it from like the lore that's in all the levels and stuff. I'm enjoying the combat. I'm enjoying the classes. I know that they just released the first expansion today, so I'm gonna wait till I beat the main story before I roll into any expansions that they have out. It's just a couple missions, new job classes and stuff like that. But I'm enjoying the game, and if you like yourself some action games and Final Fantasy, check it out. All right.
I saw the announcement for DLC. I didn't realize that it's out now.
Yeah, it just got released today. The first
Damn.
DLC. Yeah.
Okay.
Might
I
have
got to
get
check
back
that
in.
out. I might need to get back in there.
Might have to get into some chaos yourself.
Yeah, the chaos is so thick I can taste it.
Definitely.
I was cracking up a lot. I feel like it gets, you either just get like desensitized to it as the longer you play the game, but so I can't tell if it's, I just kind of got over it, or if like the writing just kind of changes a bit the more you get into the game. But I remember the first like half of the game, I was just like constantly laughing hard at just how bad.
I think maybe they realized how hard they were going with the chaos and the outrageous dialogue that they had.
I wanted more.
Oh yeah,
I wanted more. Like I wanted him to just go all in. Chaos is every fifth word.
Yeah, Final Fantasy bro at its finest.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's cool. I got to check out the DLC, and I'm glad you're playing it now. I mean, did you get it on PC or?
No, I got it on PlayStation just to
PlayStation?
kind of avoid any issues with it on PC and stuff like that, and just because it was kind of easier, more convenient.
Yeah, so it ended up being fine. I think you would have been fine actually, because you get a pretty beefy gaming rig. So I had no issues. I think we got basically the same specs. So
yeah, I think
you would have been okay.
Yeah, I think you told me you were able to like you didn't have any issues. So
yeah,
but I was just I'll just get it on PlayStation. I have stuff on PlayStation I haven't played, so I was like, let me just do that.
Yeah, I'm debating. So Stranger of Paradise was fine for me. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is still not fine for me. I've been, I think this was like a week or two ago. I like re-downloaded it, and there's been like new drivers and all these other like patches and stuff. So I think when they released it on Steam, they got a lot more people motivated to try to like fix the game, and so I was messing around with that stuff. I can't get it to work, so I might just like throw in the towel and just play it on PS5 and which I think would be like I played Remake on PS4 Pro, and it was like pretty solid.
You'll be able to do the upgrade too, right?
Yeah, what is it, like $10 or something?
$10 for the PS5 upgrade.
So I might just do that, and then I'll be able to replay the game. It'll probably look great, and I'll check out Intergrade, and then that'll put me in a good place for Rebirth.
No,
or whatever it's called. What is? No. The part 2. I think it's called Rebirth, isn't it? Final Fantasy 7.
That doesn't come out till.
It's a while away, but it's. Well, my point is it's going to be on PlayStation 5. Like I
thought you were talking about.
There's no chance.
Zack one, the one with Zack that comes out at the end of the year.
Oh,
put you in the mood for that one.
Yeah. I mean I think that too. I'm going to play that for sure because I never played I never played it on PSP, but no, I was saying more for
next year.
Part 2, because it's going to be exclusive for probably a while, so there's no way.
It's probably going to have the same, and even if they do exclusivity, if they do it on PC, I think they're going to have the same thing and just do it on Epic. Because I think eventually Stranger of Paradise is going to come out on Steam, but for now it's still exclusive to Epic Game Store. It might just be like a year exclusivity or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, is that your...
Those are my closing thoughts. What are your thoughts?
You're just going to gloss over this boondoggle of ours over the weekend? Like that wasn't...
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll be the big bang at the end.
Okay. All right. I kind of already I've been doing like a lot of travel. I've been like very busy, so I didn't really do too much TV watching. We're gonna wait for all of the episodes of Better Call Saul to be out there, and we'll cross our fingers that we don't get spoiled by anything. But it's
tough. But
okay.
Good luck to you.
Right. Yeah, shit. How many? There's 2 out now?
There's 2 out now. I believe it's 4 more left. Good luck. And not getting spoiled, I mean. I've seen the 2. I'm enjoying them. Like you said, I've always been hit or miss with whether I should wait for all of them to be out and then watch them, or should I do week by week. I just decided to do week by week. But waiting is also good.
You were the pioneer of the not watch a show until
it depends on the show, but I think it was just I was so hyped for it. I was like, I need to watch it now. And also, like you said, spoilers. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, I think, is it better than part 1 so far, or too early to tell?
It's too early to tell, but it is closing a lot of storylines, I would say. So you're getting satisfied.
That's all I need to know.
There you go.
Okay. But yeah, not much in the way of TV consumption. It's really been playing a lot of games on the Steam Deck. As I mentioned, I went on this trip across the country, so I had a lot of time in the air. The Steam Deck just kind of, it's a game changer for flying for me. What's funny is the game that I played the most was Vampire Survivors. So, and the reason I find that funny is because it's like a $2 game.
So it's $650 machine.
Yeah. What is it, like $700 after tax? So it's like $600 or $700 for this machine. All of that so I can play the $2 game. But to me, it's like this might be a little bit extreme, but like just playing Vampire Survivors like almost makes the whole purchase like completely worth it for the Steam Deck.
I mean, it's like good. When I had my first PC, I had a 2070 Ti on it, and all I played was League of Legends.
Yeah. So I played a lot of Vampire Survivors. It's a really, really cool game. Very addictive. There's actually quite a bit of replayability in it that I didn't initially think, just based on how they kind of present the game, and then the fact that it's $2. So I thought I would just be kind of like in and out, but like I've been playing this game for probably, I don't know, well over 10 hours at this point. So definitely a lot of value. I think they're going to continue, refining the game and probably adding more content. So that's been great. It's like, to me, like it's a no-brainer Steam Deck game that like everyone should have. Then, and I'd already been playing that, so I just it was free on Game Pass, so I played around with the game on Game Pass already, and I really liked it. And then I stopped playing it because I knew I was going to, basically buy it on Steam and have it available on Steam Deck. So I'm glad I did that. And then I'm still trying to find my other my next big kind of Steam Deck classic that I'm always going to go back to. I was trying a bunch of games that I already had, and I haven't quite found. I think they're all like great experiences, but I haven't quite found like what comes after Vampire Survivors that I'm gonna be like super excited about. I did play. I played quite a bit of Divinity Original Sin 2. I think it actually plays really well on Steam Deck, even though it's more of like a kind of point and click type game. I think they have an option for using like a controller that actually works really well for it. I think I just don't like those games. So so even with like more of like the controller, like I think I've talked about this before. It was kind of like a similar thing with like Lost Ark, where it's like there's something with how I'm programmed where like I just can't get into those like top down isometric like games. So I thought maybe with it being on the Steam Deck, like it's like it's great. I think it's just like the game continues to be not for me.
Yeah, that's funny because that was one of those titles where I was like, oh, I could play this on Steam Deck now because I've always wanted to play it. I just didn't want to sit on a computer and play it. I feel like it's a good portable Steam Deck game.
I think I would like if you're into those type of games more than I am. Like I would definitely like it's pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
I just again I think it's just like not for me. And then what else? I think that was and then I just kind of played a little bit of like a lot of other games like Yakuza Like a Dragon. I just kind of played around with a little bit. I think that's another game that I think you mentioned you're gonna start playing that one now, right?
Yeah.
Or you already have? Yeah. That was like I think that was my game of the year when that came out. So I already played the heck out of it. So I just wanted to like get a taste of what it was on Steam Deck, but I didn't play it too much. But I would definitely recommend like that. That's a pretty solid game. So I think that's it. And the only other maybe gaming thing, maybe to redeem myself for all of the shitting on Nintendo Switch that I've been doing the entire episode. There is a Nintendo Switch game coming out this week called Live Alive. So I'm probably gonna get that and check it out. So that'll be probably my only non-Steam Deck gaming will be Live Alive on the Switch.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat. I do want to get Live Alive, it obviously on the Switch, but I want to wait till I do finish Stranger of Paradise, and also Destiny's having like a solstice event where you get armor and weapons and stuff like that because of the summer solstice. They do it every year, and I like to. Their events are pretty cool. You get pretty cool stuff. So that's gonna be keeping me up for the week. But I will definitely probably get Live Alive once I'm done with this stuff.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we should stop the episode because we've been recording for over an hour. And this was meant to be a 30-minute episode.
Yeah, there you go. We were trying to keep it short, but
we didn't even get into the boondoggle. Isn't that was the
boondoggle?
Yeah, like we hung out over the weekend.
Who calls it a boondoggle?
I do. What else? How else would you describe it?
The shenanigans. We didn't get into any shenanigans. We hung out.
Exactly.
It was amazing. We haven't hung out since September when I went out to Seattle. We had a good time. We did a lot of production meetings over drinks. We had a 10-hour production meeting while drinking alcohol in different places. But it's good. We hadn't met up since September, so it's good to be in the same city together and just kind of go to these bars and talk about the show, talk about what we want out of the show, talk about the future, and just, let the creative juices flow along with the alcoholic juices.
That's a little too provocative.
It's Bayonetta time, baby. No, but
Yep.
it was great, and then we have a lot of things planned for the show. And it's gonna be better now that we're both gonna be living in the same state. We're gonna be in the same area, so it's gonna be better for us producing the show and getting content on the show, and also for you guys, the listeners, to get this content. So I'm happy for that. Good times are ahead, better times.
Yeah, I think we initially like, hey, let's meet up and grab brunch, and 10 hours later, we decided to call the night. So, but yeah, it was good to be back in New York, and yeah, I'll be moving back there hopefully sometime next month. So we can finally do some in-person recordings, which I think would be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy month. A lot of stuff coming your way, coming our way. A little trip to Vegas in a couple of weeks. Some Evo content. Some T-shirts, which will be showing off pretty soon. So, join the Discord. Join us on Discord, on the Pressing Buttons Discord, if you want your chance to get a Pressing Buttons shirt, which we'll be displaying soon. But yeah, we're gonna end it up now because this is a pretty long episode. But thanks again for listening to us. Keep up to date on the Pressing Buttons Discord, Pressing Buttons Twitter for any Pressing Buttons news. All right. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick. Later.